Hello DIY crafters, it's Elizabeth with a new craft project from dandysoap.com. This piece was inspired by a pumpkin with chicken wire mesh that I saw at Dollar General. It sits up on your counter just for looks during Thanksgiving. I wanted to make mine larger, and I wanted mine to be more of an inspirational display. So I wanted to make it larger so I could sit it on my countertop and put inspirational sayings on it or even notes. I will be using, of course, scissors, the outer section of the pumpkin from the Halloween signage, or you could use the Thanksgiving signage as long as you only have the outer piece of the pumpkin. Nautical rope, only enough to go around this bigger pumpkin. I'll be using the silver lining and elephant chalk paints from Waverly to make my aluminum pie pan look more galvanized appearance, like galvanized metal. With that being said, you can repurpose an aluminum pan of any sort. The most important piece you will need is either the wire mesh wastebasket, square basket, or round basket. Your glue gun, and preferably Gorilla Glue sticks. So let's get started. You can use either side. You could use this side, or you could use this side. Because of the glitter, I may just use this side just to kind of speed things along. The next thing, since I've got this all cleared away, is I'm going to take and cut the wire off of this wastebasket. Please, 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 whatever you do, be careful. This is really sharp and prickly, and the last thing I want anybody to do is to get hurt. But once you get those scissors in there and get that first one or two started, it'll move right along, and you can plug through there pretty quick. This is the double section, so it takes a hot minute through there. That's where it's lapped over when the factory put this trash can together. But once you cut in those little crossbars, it gets to rolling pretty good. I'm cutting the wire loose. Now, as you can see, if you spread that out, you got a great big huge piece of mesh. And we're going to be using that. We're going to size this up. This, as I said before, we will use this for another DIY project. Just place this aside for the time being. Our pumpkin is our template. Like I did, I want that wire to be just under there. Take the Sharpie paint marker and just hit it in that area. As you can see, I've already pre-marked mine. And then you'll just cut that piece. Now that we've got our mesh trimmed out and sized up to fit our pumpkin, you can use several options. But to be honest with you, you can take a regular stapler, open it up, and you can staple this. Because of the density of the pumpkin, it is not necessary to have a heavy-duty stapler. You can actually just go through there, and as long as you lay your stapler flat, it will be enough to press a staple down and buckle your mesh down onto the back of your pumpkin. I'm not going to treat, so I just wanted to demonstrate for you how to buckle your mesh down to your pumpkin. And then what you can do, just to, in case there are some sharp places on the edges, take and go around that with your glue gun over the top of the very edge, just to prevent any kind of picking or cutting or poking, and just kind of seal off those edges with the glue. And here we are. We have our mesh buckled to our pumpkin. Now, in some areas, I was able to get a little bit closer and pushing my stapler more flat and even on the back. So once again, just to reiterate, you might feel the tips of your staple coming through there. It's not going to cause a problem at all. And you do have an option of taking sandpaper or even the sand block, but preferably a nail file, a fingernail file you can take, or an emery board, you can take and rub across those staples and just smooth them to make sure there's no sharp shards or any pokes. If you're not worried about that, you can go ahead and just paint it and with your chalk paint and start shadowing it the way that you want to. Okay, to prepare your metal, just take your elephant if you want to. I'm going to use a brush, and I'm just going to basically paint it. And I'm not worried about precision here. This is just to give it that old-timey look of galvanized metal, even with it is shaped. And right now, I just want to get that elephant paint on there, because I'm going to like it's galvanized looking, like it's punched, or excuse me, hammered tin. Not punched, hammered tin. Look. And while that elephant is, and this is chalk paint, so it dries really fast. Really, really fast. But when it's wet, touching it, it transfers easy, as y'all can see. Don't need a lot of this at all, because we just want it to look a little bit punched, like it's been hammered. I'm sorry. Want it to look like it's been hammered. And that's all there is to it. Just some pouncing of your elephant wet brush and a little bit of that silver lining chalk paint. And we'll leave those to dry. Inspirational piece so that I can post little sayings. With that being said, you can get the 4-pack of the magnetic clips at Dollar Tree. I'll be using one of these, and I will glue it somewhere about here and place notes on it, or, as I said, inspirational sayings. And just as a daily reminder, even though it's got create, I'll put a little note there. It has enough room to accommodate all that. And this could be turned sideways. It could be horizontal. Or you could somehow maybe run it up the side, be create, and use this as your area to put your notes. Just anywhere you want. And then, okay, so when you're sizing up your tin, basically just lay it in there and bend back where you want it to get it to fit. Don't worry about so much of scanting it up, because that's what we want. We want it to look old-fashioned. I haven't sealed these in yet, but I did want to just tell you a tidbit about going ahead and sizing it and then trimming off the piece that you're not going to use. So right now I'm still just staging and preparing my sign before I put a... Okay, so while I'm messing with this and staging everything, I decided to take the pieces that we had cut off from these edges and just twist them up and just kind of stage them there. And I think that as far as if you're going to place this somewhere where you wouldn't have to worry about some cutting anybody, it's actually smooth. It is pokey, but it's not like sharp. So you could, technically, you could put this on there if you didn't have the floral wire that we talked about. But as far as if you were concerned about smoothness, you could use the floral wire instead to make your little curlies coming off of your pumpkin. But it's not necessary. You don't even have to have that unless you just want it. But I was looking at, different choices and different things I could do, especially with anything that's left over and what I might come up with. But that's just another idea that you could use. I've now painted my Create, and I am planning on placing it here. And as you can see, I've already varnished my pumpkin. The varnish is still drying on the aluminum. It will take a little bit longer on the metal. And so just for stage, I'm thinking about placing my Create right there. And then my silver magnetic clip, when I glue it, it will fit and look really, really nice. And I may even use some of the clothespin, the little wooden clothespins about here just to hang up little notes and stuff. And then the nautical rope, when we get to it, we will actually be gluing the nautical rope just on the outer edge of the pumpkin. The center that we had in that pie pan, I have decided to cut some leaves out of this. And they do not have to be any certain perfect or perfection per se. You can just go around into an oval and use that round of that pan to your advantage. And I'm just going to cut some ovals and then I can size these up. The great thing about using aluminum to do your crafts is something really, really cool. You could take a pencil if you like, and you can just kind of draw and just kind of put veins into your leaves and just kind of make them appear a little more real. And you can turn them and twist them any way you want. You can leave them more or less like this. It's strictly up to you. The sky is the limit. And so you can just kind of take your pencil and you can kind of roll the edge if you want to. And then just kind of make them look a little more dimpled. And just all kinds of little neat little things you can do to make your project look even more prettier. And I'll probably glue that up there. And like I said, there's, you don't have to worry about getting cut or anyone getting poked or cut or hurt from these. So you can take, and you could paint those if you wanted to. I'll probably just leave the pencil mark in there and leave them just like that and leave them a little more bright. I don't know, I may end up doing 2 leaves. Dun, dun, dun! She is done! Look at her, she's so gorgeous. You guys, I got so excited about showing you the finished piece that I forgot to put the Jenga blocks on the back so that she's freestanding. So pardon me while I use some of the boards I've pre-painted to get them ready for DIYs and use that as my display. It can light it up brightly with that white in the background, but nonetheless, as you can see, I went ahead and put the nautical rope around it. I took a white Sharpie marker and hit the edges so this Create will jump out, and the magnetic silver heavy-duty clip up here. I also abandoned the floral wire and went with my aluminum leaf and the curly cues. I used jute twine for the stem because I didn't want her to be top-heavy and bulky. That nautical rope going around the edges just really sets it off, and that was part of the inspirational piece. On the back, I did put my glue, just in case I'm wearing a blouse and I don't want it to get picked, or there is a point or something, which is unfelt, but it never hurts to have a little insurance. So all in all, you guys, I estimate $2.75. If you really wanted to get picky, split hair about it, $3. The inspirational piece was $5. It was half this size. You guys, this has your own personal touch to it. Here's another thing. I have cork boards and poster boards and chalk boards all over the place. But they're against the wall, and most times there's something sitting in front of it. And trying to get to it and stick a note on there and get the note off, well, it's cumbersome. With this, it is right there on the countertop. If I get a call-in order for the shop, I can very easily jot that note down, place it on here along with my inspirational pieces or any little note that I want to put on there or my saying for the day. And I can very quickly dispense that note, pull that order, and put the note, and then it's free to use for something else. This is something that was instantaneous that I could use right away. And that's what I hope you guys see it for. This matches my decor. It's got the farmhouse style. It is vintage looking, and it has that feel to it. It's small, portable, and I can use it over and over beyond Thanksgiving, beyond holidays. I did not fix this for Thanksgiving. I fixed this as my inspirational board countertop display. So you guys, if you love this channel, please subscribe. Share it with a family or friend you think may love these projects and enjoy doing a DIY. Please hit the like button. I really appreciate it. The more views I get, the more it helps my channel to get noticed. And if you guys want to, visit dandysoap.com, our website. Until the next DIY, guys, I really appreciate it. I hope I got your vote on this, and I hope it inspires you to grab those outer sections of pumpkins and get to making your inspirational piece. Please share with me, and I love friend mail. Until the next DIY, you guys have a wonderful, crafty day.